Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today I will analyze the case of Bethany Deaton. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the incident, then offer my analysis. Bethany Ann Deaton was born on October 15, 1985, in San Antonio, Texas. She was raised in Arlington, Texas, along with 4 siblings. In 2005, after being homeschooled for many years, she attended Southwestern University in Georgetown, Texas. During her freshman year, she met a man named Tyler Deaton, and they became friends. Bethany developed a romantic attraction to Tyler, but he was gay and was not interested in her romantically. Tyler appeared to be on a spiritual and magical quest, which was inspired by his love for Harry Potter and the Chronicles of Narnia. He once said that Harry Potter was the greatest story ever written. On a trip to Pakistan, Tyler claimed that he witnessed a boy with one leg miraculously end up with a second leg. He believed this was caused by a deity. Upon his return to Texas, Tyler wanted access to the world of the supernatural. On July 20, 2007, while Tyler was standing outside of a bookstore waiting for the release of another Harry Potter book, he claimed that God commanded him to form a prayer group. When Tyler started the group, there were only 3 other members. Bethany was one of them. These 4 people thought of themselves as the 4 children from the Chronicles of Narnia. They were destined for greatness and would live a life of adventure. The group members convinced themselves they could heal medical conditions and drive away demons. They were very animated in their worship practices, like they would roll around and shake, and they integrated references to magic and fantasy. In December 2007, Tyler attended a conference held by a charismatic Christian organization in Kansas City, Missouri, called the International House of Prayer. It was also known as IHOP, as in International House of Pancakes. Perhaps somebody failed to research the market before picking a name. IHOP had some beliefs that deviated significantly from other Christian movements. For example, they believed the second coming of Jesus Christ was going to occur very soon, as in the church members would still be alive when it happened. There was a problem, however. Demons had taken possession of Christian hearts and infiltrated institutions. The solution to this problem came in the form of the IHOP members. They would play a critical part in paving the way for the return of Jesus Christ. To accomplish this goal, the group would engage in 24-hour prayer, much like IHOP restaurants stay open for 24 hours, but with fewer hash browns and more spiritual warfare. Succeeding with this demon removal mission would, of course, come with a substantial reward from God. The church members believed they would live like gods on earth. By helping a deity, they would sort of become deities themselves. Excited about this newfound potential deity status, Tyler returned to Texas. He fired up his small prayer group, dazzling them with the message of IHOP. They found themselves longing for a world where they could ascend to deity status, and maybe a little hungry for pancakes. Tyler aligned the beliefs of the prayer group with IHOP as the members read materials about this belief system. They really looked up to Tyler. He held himself out to be an end-times apostle, which everyone found to be exciting. Tyler informed the members that he had been chosen to train God's final army. He had frequent prophecies, which also kept the group members excited. For example, Tyler predicted fire would rain down on the college and expose non-believers. By the spring of 2008, Tyler's group had grown from 4 people to about 20 people. Bethany was still in the group. Her presence there was due to the attraction she had to Tyler. The fact that Tyler was gay did not discourage Bethany. Under her belief system, homosexuality was evil. However, Bethany believed that she could heal Tyler from his sexual orientation. She was counting on God to assist her as she transformed Tyler into the man she needed. As this was going on, Tyler was engaging in various activities which were making some people uncomfortable. For example, he would frequently cuddle with male members of the group and have them participate in massages. This was not something that all the men were interested in, but when they resisted, Tyler told them if they did not like being touched, they were only experiencing part of God's love. In 2009, Bethany Deaton graduated with a bachelor's degree in English. A few years later, she would also earn a nursing degree. Tyler's IHOP-inspired prayer group decided to move to Grandview, Missouri, which is a suburb of Kansas City. This put them closer to the IHOP organization. The group lived in 2 rented houses on East 122nd Street, one house for the men and one house for the women. They referred to themselves as the community. In Missouri, Bethany became more forceful in her pursuit of Tyler. Eventually, Tyler had an epiphany and claimed to be overwhelmed by the radiant purity of Bethany's love for him. He believed that homosexuality was a choice. Therefore, he and Bethany could be together romantically and even get married. Bethany was very happy about this decision and looked forward to helping Tyler defeat his sexual orientation. On August 18, 2012, Bethany and Tyler married. They went on a honeymoon in Costa Rica, but did not have sex. Bethany was confused and uneasy upon returning from the honeymoon. She moved into the basement of the men's house to be near Tyler, but spent many nights at the women's house, saying she needed a little space and felt too controlled. Later, 3 men from the prayer group said that Tyler was having sex with them. It's not clear if Bethany knew about this. Tyler would later indicate that he believed Bethany did not know about his extracurricular activity. Now moving to the timeline of the incident. On October 30, 2012, at 9:40 p.m., the police in Kansas City, Missouri responded to a report of a dead body in a tan Ford Windstar minivan. The vehicle was near a picnic shelter at Longview Lake. In the 3rd row seat was the body of 27-year-old Bethany Deaton. She had a white plastic trash bag over her head. Initially, the police did not know what happened to Bethany and wondered if someone had killed her. The scene appeared to be suspicious to them, but after finding a goodbye note with Bethany's handwriting in the vehicle, they were satisfied that no one else was involved in her death. The case was considered closed. On November 9, 2012, 10 days after Bethany's death, a prayer group member named Micah Moore went to the Grandview Police Department and said that he had murdered Bethany Deaton. He confessed to suffocating her with a plastic bag after drugging her with Seroquel. Micah claimed he committed the murder at Tyler's request. The murder was ordered to conceal assaults of a sexual nature which had been committed against Bethany. The police investigated Micah's claim and found out that Tyler had been having sex with multiple men in the prayer group. He told the men that the sex was a religious experience. The men also indicated that Tyler was manipulative and exercised a tremendous level of control over people in the group. Even though Bethany's case had been closed, the police now believed that Micah was her killer. They didn't know if the part about Tyler was true. Tyler was never charged with any crime. On November 28, 2012, 19 days after Micah's confession, Micah's attorney indicated that the confession was fabricated. Micah was a distraught and confused young man who made up the story about killing Bethany. Despite this, Micah Moore was charged with first-degree murder. Almost 2 years later, in October 2014, the state dismissed the murder charge against Micah. The prosecutor said, quote, "My office concluded that we could not ethically continue to pursue the case given the current evidence," unquote. IHOP condemned the Tyler Deaton prayer group as a cult and said the group engaged in disturbing religious practices. They were unaware of his splinter group, and Tyler operated independently and under a veil of secrecy. Now moving to my analysis. The police said there is no evidence tying Tyler Deaton to Bethany's death. Tyler has denied any involvement. Micah Moore maintains his innocence, but not everybody is convinced. The police made it clear that their investigation into Bethany's death remains open. This brings me to the question, was Micah Moore guilty of murder? Let's take a look at the evidence both for and against the idea that he was guilty, starting with the inculpatory factors. Micah confessed to killing Bethany. He even described how she died. Micah was tied to a prayer group, which has been referred to as a cult. Arguably, a higher proportion of cult members are involved in homicide than the general public. Moving to the exculpatory factors, all the details supplied by Micah were made public before his confession. He did not reveal any secret information. No physical evidence connected Micah to Bethany's death. No DNA, no fingerprints, no hair, no blood, no electronic evidence, nothing at all. There was a note found in Bethany's vehicle which contained her handwriting and took responsibility for the tragedy. A Walmart surveillance video captured Bethany buying 2 bottles of acetaminophen, which were found in her minivan. A few days before her death, Bethany was treated for severe mental health symptoms, and there were concerns about her safety. Despite this, she was released from a treatment facility. Micah's confession was inconsistent with the circumstances of Bethany's death in many ways. For example, Micah claimed the murder occurred before 10 a.m. Bethany did not arrive at the lake until after 10 a.m. He said her body was in the front seat of the minivan, but it was in the third row seat. Micah said that he drugged Bethany with Seroquel, but this medication was not found in her system. He insisted that assaults of a sexual nature had occurred against Bethany, but there was no evidence of this. Bethany had a journal which indicated that she never had sex with anybody. When considering all the evidence in this case, do I believe that Micah Moore was guilty of murder? No, I believe he was not guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and not guilty in reality. Micah is actually innocent. It sounds as if he had some mental health symptoms which caused him to falsely confess. Moving to the next question, did Tyler Deaton operate a cult? It appears as though Tyler did run a cult. Many of the characteristics of his prayer group aligned with the definition of a cult. For example, a cult is authoritarian and manipulative. Tyler wielded a tremendous amount of power and manipulated the group members. He controlled many aspects of their lives, including what they ate, what they wore, and who they dated. Members were isolated from family members and attended accountability meetings where members identified sinful behavior. A cult is based around communal goals. Tyler's group called themselves the Community and shared the goal of becoming quasi-deities. A cult indoctrinates members using a relatively new belief system in the culture of origin. The IHOP-inspired beliefs of this group fit this description. Very few people believe they are going to be wearing staff t-shirts during the apocalypse. Moving to the last question, what do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Tyler Deaton managed to manipulate a small group of loyal followers. He appeared to recognize his own charisma, describing himself as electric and magnetic, and claiming that he could affect people. One of the reasons Tyler became so influential was because he believed in himself. He thought he had divine power. For example, he could make appliances fail by cursing them, command birds to fly away, and make his neighbors turn down loud music by yelling the name Jesus. Members of the prayer group may have shared some of Tyler's worrisome characteristics, like grandiosity, overconfidence, arrogance, and the false belief of being special. They liked Tyler in part because he made them feel important. A high level of narcissism facilitated the development of this cult, and not just narcissism from one person. The members desperately wanted to believe that they would be involved in an epic adventure where the fate of the universe was at stake. In their fantasy, each of them was a hero. They were part of a secret organization of extremely powerful and chosen people. As far as Bethany, she had very low standards in romantic partners. For example, she was overwhelmingly attracted to Tyler, a man who believed he was an end-times apostle. Bethany refused to accept the truth that Tyler was homosexual. Instead of being repulsed by what she believed was an evil characteristic, Bethany was only more attracted because of this sexual orientation. Maybe she believed it was proof that Tyler was chosen for an amazing purpose, like the demons afflicted him with this orientation because they were afraid of the destruction he would rain down upon them in the apocalypse. Bethany would also be elevated during this transformation because she would be the one who helped Tyler. She would make him pure so he could ascend to glory. When he reached this position of glory, he would reach down and pull her up. Ultimately, the stress of the cult-like environment and the narcissism-induced distorted thinking were too much for a few people in the story to handle, including Bethany and Micah. These tragic circumstances caused the death of one and almost sent another to prison for life. Those are my thoughts on the case of Bethany Deaton. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Just a reminder that I have a Patreon account with over 300 pre-release videos. When I put a video in pre-release status, it stays that way for months, if not a year. I will put the link to my Patreon account in the description for this video.